Hello guys, I'm Kiri, welcome back to the channel. Today we're gonna talk about the first and original 1974 Lamborghini Countach LP 400 Periscopio. As you can see, the car in front of us is a yellow color, and for me this is one of the best colors for the early LP 400 Countach, together with very popular red and maybe green. Yellow because the very first 1971 Lamborghini Countach prototype, which was with codename LP500, was the same yellow color, but this car doesn't exist anymore because was lost in a crash test. So this yellow color really suits very nice and is the first original color for this car. Then later, the first pre-production 1974 car was painted in red, but any color actually is nice because simply is a Lamborghini Countach and is designed by Bertone. This first production model of the Countach was presented for the first time at the 1974 Geneva Motor Show, where on the end 50 orders were placed. Of course, the very first car, chassis number 112001, was sold on the motor show. The task for the designers and engineers was very hard, because this car was the successor of the first supercar in the world and maybe the most beautiful Lamborghini Miura. Miura was huge success, and imagine what was the expectation of this new Countach, which was completely radical with this new weight-shaped design and unseen up to that moment scissor doors. Miura was more soft and curved design, normal for the 60s. But Countach was more sharp, angular, crazy design, and because of that, Lamborghini named the car Countach. By the way, the word Countach comes from the Piedmontese region in Italy and expresses simply wow, when you see something for the first time and is very unusual, like a shock or goodness if you want. But there were some differences with the Miura, not only on the design aspect, but on the technical as well. Both cars are with V12 engines. In Miura is transversely mounted and together with the gearbox is one piece. When in Countach the engine is longitudinally mounted, from where actually LP stands, longitudinally posteriore or longitudinally placed. The gearbox is separate and is in front of the engine, which was something new. V12 naturally aspirated, of course, 3929cc and producing 375 horsepower. So now we know what everything means. Lamborghini stands for the founder of the company, the man himself, Ferruccio Lamborghini. Then the Countach stands for the expression wow or shocking when you see something very unusual like a UFO. LP longitudinally posterior, and 400 is the capacity of the engine 4-liter, in this case 3929cc. Was the most cool and ridiculous car up to that moment ever made. Lamborghini had big problems actually to bring this car on the road. As we said, the first car prototype was ready in 1971, but the car was ready for the customers some 3 years later in 1974. The biggest problem was overheating the engine. They tried different scoops, air intakes, radiators, fans, until the problem was sorted out. Then the glasses. Because of the design, the car had big glasses, so wasn't easy to make them work, especially the door glasses. Originally the glasses were a different shape, but until they work properly, they changed the design. Was very important because was very hot inside the cabin and needed proper ventilation. The engineers spent some time as well to make the seats and the seating position comfortable for driving the car. There were other problems as well, which on the end affects on the early presentation. These early Lamborghini Countach are very well known with the nickname Periscopio. This is coming from the submarines, and you can see on the roof is an unusual channel, from which channel actually the driver has a rear view. There is a mirror inside the cabin in the usual place, which you can direct it to the channel, and this is how you see what's happened behind you. Not because you need it. Most of the owners said, I don't need a mirror, I always gonna be fast and first. Even the particular car in front of us doesn't have any side mirrors, probably because of the same reason. Lamborghini Countach Periscopio was in production until 1978, when was replaced by the new model LP400S. Now, here are big differences. Actually the same body, but more modern look. Extended wheel arches, big spoiler on the back, lower suspension, Bravo 15-inch alloy wheels, and of course the wide tires, specially designed from Pirelli. They said the inspiration of this new look Countach was taken from the Formula 1 owner on that time, Walter Wolff, who ordered Countach but wasn't happy from the look and placed a special order. Wide tires, extended wheel arches and spoiler. A big spoiler like the Formula 1 cars. And this design actually was working. Replacing the mid-engined legendary Miura, the Countach is boldly claimed to be the fastest and most expensive production GT coupe in the world. 1974, the price was 16,314 British pounds in UK. Just for comparison, Lamborghini Huracan was 7,567, Jaguar E-Type V12 3,638 pounds, Ferrari 365 BB Berlinetta Boxer 13,492, Ferrari 365 GT4 2+2 12,960 pounds, Ford Escort RS 2000 1,586 British pounds, Maserati Merak 7,000 pounds, Porsche 911 5,000 pounds. So imagine Lamborghini Countach Periscopio early 1974, 16,314 British pounds was the most expensive car on the market, but as well the fastest and most powerful. We mentioned early 375 horsepower in 1974. Again, the rivals, Ferrari 365 Berlinetta Boxer 360 horsepower, later 1977 512 Berlinetta Boxer 340 horsepower, even less. De Tomaso Pantera 330 horsepower, so again Lamborghini Countach was the most powerful car. Was claimed maximum speed over 300 km per hour by the factory, but in reality was a bit less. Anyway, very fast for 50 years ago. With the development of the Countach, Lamborghini not only redefined the concept of the exotic car, but advanced it to a point that remains even today. Become a legend, and the shape of the original Countach we can see today in every V12 Lambo, from Diablo to Reventon and Aventador. Very similar, just new technology. The weight-shaped body was angular rather than curved, and literally many vents and scoops, air intakes, and very strangely curved rear wheel opening. Later we can see similar in Maserati Shamal. A huge NACA side scoops, together with a pair of vents on the rear deck, twin vertically mounted radiators in the rear fenders, the two large scoops behind the doors supplying the air to the engine. The external body panels, made of ultra-thin 1mm aluminum, were riveted to a tubular frame. Some of the inner body panels were fabricated from an exotic Avion Now Superlight alloy. Tubular steel frame with multitude of units, something similar to Maserati racing cars Type 60 and 61. The Countach front suspension has equal length arms, coil springs and shocks with anti-roll bar. At the rear, single upper link, lower A arms and twin radius rods were installed. In the four corners, the shock absorbers are cony with aluminum cylinders, very expensive for the time. So single cony shocks each side for the front wheels, but double per the back wheels. No rubber bushes were used in the suspension system, so the suspension was a racing style, and for the road car in 1974 probably was the best handling car. Gearlink brakes on all four corners with ventilated discs and alloy calipers. This was the first use in a production vehicle. Many companies used gearboxes from ZF Zandrak Fabrik, but here the gearbox is a Lamborghini unit, specially designed for the Countach, 5-speed manual, but the limited slip differential was supplied by ZF. The wheels, as you can see, they are only 14-inch front and rear, made by the very famous Campagnolo, 14 by 7.5-inch front and 14 by 9-inch wide at the rear. Originally the tires were Michelin XWX 205/70 VR14 front and 215/70 VR14 on the rear. Because everything was like in a racing car, they needed something very important: low weight. So before to start the development of the Countach, the target for the weight was exactly 2,205 pounds or exactly 1 ton. But they didn't reach that number. So the 1974 Lamborghini Countach LP 400 Periscopio on the end was over 2,400 pounds or 1,100 kilograms. but the late versions were much heavier, up to 1.5 tons. But 1100 kilograms actually was very good achievement. To have this low weight, they've been using magnesium castings for a large number of Countach components, like front and rear hub carriers, steering housing, the sump, oil pump and oil filter housing, the handbrake calipers, the Campagnolo wheels and the housing for the gearbox and the clutch. So it wasn't just a car with tubular frame and exotic bodywork. It was a very high-tech car for the early 1970s. Lamborghini gave massive attention to the engine. As we already mentioned, V12 4-liter 3929cc with 6 horizontal Weber 45 2-barrel carburetors and producing 375 horsepower. The most powerful car in 1974, probably except some American engines with more power but not effective. With acceleration from 0 to 100 km per hour or 62 miles per hour just in 5.4 seconds. Again, the fastest accelerating car back in the day. Interior-wise was very beautiful, as you can see. Inside is just astonishing. Very fine Italian leather, and this brown color was one of the most used in the 1970s. This particular car in front of us is a 1976 Lamborghini Countach LP 400, and in this combination, yellow over brown, the car is very beautiful. And this thanks to the first and original owner of the car who ordered it in this spec. It's very stylish inside, 3-spoke steering wheel with leather and Lamborghini logo in the middle, very thin dashboard and nicely covered with beautiful material, in which were installed 8 Stewart Warner gauges, speedometer to 320 km per hour or 200 miles, 9000 RPM tachometer, then oil pressure and oil temperature, coolant temperature, ammeter, voltmeter, fuel level, also 8 warning lights for brakes, alternators, air conditioner, etc. etc. But here we need to say that even on the first 1971 prototype LP500, the interior was even more futuristic, was kind of digital and electronic, and the approach that Bertone first had in mind for the Gandini's futuristic creation. With one word, was car number 1 in the world. Was in production from 1974 until 1978, and for this time Lamborghini built just over 150 of these early Periscopio cars, many of them later being transformed into a more modern, wide-bodied LP400S or 500, but from few years the owners begin to bring back the originality, because nowadays the original early Countach cars are much more rare and valuable. The prices are going well over €1 million, dollar or British pounds. So after 1978 the car was updated, even no once, different variants until the end of the production in 1990, when was replaced by Diablo. For 17 years in production, Lamborghini built 1,983 Countach cars. In 1978 the LP400S appears with wide body and big spoiler, then 1982 500S was introduced, later in 95 LP5000 Quattro Valve, in 1988 the 25th anniversary, designed not by someone else but by Horacio Pagani, who was working at Lamborghini at the moment. He had great ideas even for carbon fiber very light car, but the bosses didn't agree. So Lamborghini Countach is a great car, but the early ones, like the car in front of us, are the original and the most desirable. So guys, I hope you liked the video about this very early 1974-1978 Lamborghini Countach LP 400. If you like, please subscribe my channel, and see you next time guys, bye!